Hello, my lovely people. My name is Naomi. So I do videos on lifestyle, self-help, development, transformation, and now I'm adding faith to my channel because I believe that in everything that we do, faith takes the center of it. And as someone who believes in God, I believe that sharing my knowledge with the world will go a long way to help those who need it. So today I'm going to discuss with you how to be financially secured, sound, and wise. But I'm going to take knowledge from the book, Holy Book, which is the Bible. So without much ado, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share with us what are some of the Bible verses that have improved your financial situation, and I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I have my notes on my laptop here, so if you see me looking on the side, it's just because I'm just looking at the points, but aside that, we are good. So as someone who loves to read, I have gone through several books, self-help, investment books, motivational books, and one thing I realized is that with all these books, their foundations stem from the Holy Book of God, which is the Bible. So if you are a child of God, then it behooves on you that you rather study the Bible with diligence, and then you can, I'm not saying don't read those books, they can be supplements to add knowledge to whatever knowledge you have already gained from the Bible. So we are going to take Bible verses about money, investments and money management, and then build on our financial security. So the Bible contains numerous scriptures that tells us what to do in managing our money, either how to start creating money or how to maintain it, or even if we are in debt, how to come out of it, and most importantly, how to distribute it when we have it. So the Bible also impacts our financial life, our financial impacts us financially in our lives. If you seek these lessons, they help you to make decisions towards your financial goals. And throughout the studying of the Holy Book, I've come up with 5 essential tips or 5 essential points to consider when you are talking about finances. First one is stewardship, which teaches us that we need to acknowledge the fact that everything in this world, every life resources we have is from the God, because He is the creator of all things, and for that matter, everything belongs to Him. So whatever we have is not on our own. We have it because God has given it to us. And so that is the first point. The second one is being content with what you have. There is the need for us to develop contentment, being secured with what we have. And we should also know that we need to recognize that money as well as wealth is a metric, is not a metric for prosperity. And for that matter, if today you can have a lot, but if you do not take care of it, which stewardship comes in, if you do not take care of it very well, it sure can leave you. So having money is not, it helps with freedom, but it's not something that tells you that you are totally out of being in danger. And so it is important to be content. Also, we should also note to refrain from taking excessive debt. If we do not need it, we do not have to go into debt for it, because God doesn't want His people to be in debt. Also, there is also the point of giving. Giving is something that every child cultivates, because It's through being generous that we gain. And that has been a practice that I have always make sure that I do, because I have gained a lot from it. And I believe that if you practice it, it will also go a long way to help you. Integrity and then honesty is another point. If you handle financial concerns with integrity and honesty, people will see you and recognize you for that. So it is important to be honest with your finances, especially if you're dealing with people, and make sure that you abstain from any unethical financial situations or behaviors, so people do not start pointing fingers at you. And lastly, there is the need for long-term planning. If you're talking about finances, you cannot have everything and use everything. You need to sit down and plan on how to distribute your money. And I believe that we will go in depth with these points by studying the book of Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 to 11. And Proverbs chapter 6 talks about ant. As an entomologist, I've studied a lot of behavior, certain characteristics of insects. An ant is a social insect, so they live in a group, in a society. And every individual has a work to perform or has a duty to perform. So I'm not surprised that the holy books use the ants as a metaphor for humans to follow, because they are one creature that they put in all that they can to secure, especially the workers, put in so much effort to secure food for the other ant society in the ant hill. So the verse 6 says that, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider his ways and be wise." As I said, they are very intelligent, so they put things in order. Verse 7 is saying that the ant has no guide or overseer or ruler, but it's very dedicated to its work. Ants are very, very self-driven. When they see the food, whatever they will do to get it, they will. So they don't wait for a friend, a sibling, a father, or a supervisor to tell them what to do. They know what to do and they go for it. They carry their responsibilities without people having to push them to do so, and they do it with diligence. They make sure that what they are doing is the right thing to do. All social insects do this, like bees, wasps, they all do this. But ant was chosen, I believe, because of how intelligent this little animal is. And they make sure that they have enough food in storage for future use. The workers don't wait for the soldiers to come and tell them to get to work. They are always busy moving to get enough. Even if they have food, they still go out there, hunt, and still bring home for storage. They are so disciplined and unafraid to pursue their work to make the anthill safe and secure. And one thing is that all these colonies of ants come together. Soldiers are protecting, workers are looking for food, queen is giving birth. All of them work in coordination to make the anthill a successful place to live. So wherever you work, whether in a community, in a team, you need to make sure that what you are contributing to the team is helping to uplift the team. So that is one thing we can learn from the ants. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do what you're supposed to do. Know your responsibilities and do it with all your heart, and put much energy as you're doing it for yourself. And also, one thing I've noticed about them is that, I'm going to use some entomological terms here, but it's something that I've seen. When they come across food and is safe in the location, they emit this pheromones, we call them aggregation pheromones, out for other conspecific ants to come. So they give off this smell that other ants of the same species will come towards the location where the food is located, and then each of them will carry as much as they can and bring it to the ant hill. So that is one thing that as we humans we can study from the ant. And this is because they are not greedy. One ant discovered food. It didn't stay there and said, this is mine, so I'm going to keep it, hide it, and come next time for it. It calls out for all the others to come in and help pick it from where it is to their destination. So humans, what are we doing? Are we being greedy with what we have? A lot of people have gained, but they are not helping those at the bottom to come up. It doesn't even make sense if you are in a group or in a circle where you are the only person who is financially enjoying. I'm not saying that if someone is lazy, you've helped them several times and they are not making good use of their money. That is a different case. But in a circle, in your family, in your friends, if you are the only one who is succeeding and all the others are flat at the bottom and you're not helping them or bringing them up the ladder with you, then there is a lot that you can learn from the ant. Don't be the only person ahead. At that time, at that point, you might be the king, but no condition is permanent. So by helping people from the ground up, when the need comes that you also need assistance, they will be able to assist you. So that is one thing about ants that is, I think is very important for humans to study. Also, verse 8 says, provide her meat in summer and gather her food in harvest. This is one thing that we all need to learn, and it talks about savings, spending and saving. You work, everyone knows that you've worked hard, but how much are you making? How much are you spending? And how much are you saving? That is something I myself is now coming into terms with. I do save, I do invest, but sometimes I'm such an impulse buyer. So it's something that I'm working on personally. So I'm happy that it is in this book telling us to be very wise with money. We should consider whether our expenditure is outpacing our savings. Are we able to survive in hard times? Because the ant keeps food during summer, because it's only summertime that they can come out and pick food. But when winter comes, when it's rainy days, ants aren't able to come out from their ant hills to look for food. So they rely solely on the food that they've harbored during summer. So these are the things that we can also go through. We harbor, which is saving during the harvest time, during when we are able to work. Because yes, we are strong, we are young now, but it is important to know that we grow old. Even if we do not grow old, accidents can happen and you cannot have the strength to do the things that you used to do anymore. What are you doing to protect yourself when these times come, when these hard times come, when there is no more harvest for you? Have you saved enough? Have you invested enough that if there is no way for you to gain any money, are you able to survive? God, I'm talking to people, but this also is speaking to me. So it's about time, if we want to be financially sound and secured in our lives, it is about time that we take our savings very, very serious. And in savings, you save. You have to also put some money for emergency. Your savings shouldn't be your emergency money. Emergency means sometimes you never plan for something. If you have a vehicle, all of a sudden it's broken down. You didn't plan for that. It happened. The emergency funds helps you to repair it. You didn't plan to fall sick in a week. It happened because you have something saved or secured for that purpose, that when unforeseen circumstances happen, you will have something to support you. Let's look at the ants. They are very wise, and let's learn from them. Live within our means and make sure that we are not using money unnecessarily. Instead of declaring, one thing too that I've noticed, mostly if you're broke, you are broke. Yes, we all know that. But instead of declaring today I'm broke, tomorrow I'm broke, why don't we adopt the attitude of excess? Although we might be broke, but as we claim to be in abundance, as we claim that money is coming into our pockets, our subconscious takes it and then hook it up to our spirits, and from then anything can happen. So don't let us speak down on our finances. Let's speak life into our finances. And I'm not saying just speak and do nothing. Speak and work towards it, and breakthroughs will come your way. It is very important to declare that we own our success and we are financially independent from any debt, from any struggles. We want our freedom, and for that matter, we have to speak to it and it will come into light. So once you speak graciously towards your life, it happens. One thing I've learned is, just as in gratitude, the more you speak gratitude, thankfulness into your life, more doors open for you. It happens to me all the time. And so the same thing with money. The more you speak money into your life, money comes to you. Verse 9 and 10 says, "How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you arise of thy sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of arms to sleep, so shall poverty come to you, as that travels, and thy wants as an armed man." Laziness. How long are we going to sleep? You see, the ants, they don't just wait for the food to come. They don't wait around for food to come to them. They actively seek, they forage, they hunt to find the food, which means that humans, we need to take action. You have ideas, you have opportunities. What are you doing to make these ideas come into reality? Take action. Don't let opportunities pass you by because you are sleeping, because you folded your arms waiting for a bigger opportunity. It is by succeeding with small things that you are able to achieve bigger ambitions. So let's start small. Let's take the first step, and all the others will come following. We need to take the initiative. If we do not, we are sleeping on our life's finances. Look for guidance whilst you take the step. Find ways through the unforeseen circumstances, and with God's help, you will be able to get to your destination. Why do we sleep? Why do we slumber? Why do we lazy around? Yes, we might have the ideas. Yes, we might have the dreams, but as long as we sleep on our money. And the devil is so wise that he will find ways and means to create all these circumstances to block you from even starting. So this is the time for you to go back to the ants and learn from it. Do not let your dreams be just dreams. Take action and let them become reality. Laziness is something that we need to cut out from our life. The devil has a really nice way of distracting us whenever we put our minds to something. And so he brings laziness, he brings procrastination, and he brings excuses, and they might all be sound excuses, but what are you doing? You are preventing your blessing from being materialized. Pray about your ideas, plan and start, and God will always meet us halfway. And I'm not saying pray and sleep, pray and work, diligently seek God, and I promise you, wonders will follow, because God, whom we serve, promises us prosperity. He is the God of creation. He created everything. So if our Father is the creator, Why should his children suffer want? Why should we suffer want? Why should we be poor? Because we do not believe and because we are not working actively for God's blessings to be on us. Now let's look at Colossians 3:23. It says, "And whatever you do, do it heartily to the Lord and not unto man." So this talks about how we should work. You know, some people have the attitude that if I'm working, if I'm an employee, the job is not mine, so I can do whatever I want. That is an attitude that if you are a child of God, you need to put a stop to it, because you work as you're working for God and not for man. You are not working for your supervisor, you're not working for your employer, you're working for God, and as whatever efforts you put into the work, it reflects on God. So you need to consider this very carefully. Recognize that God is honored by the work that you do in your job. So you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for God, and God is honored by people praising your work. So respect and place God first in your workplace, and also make sure that you prioritize family whilst doing your work, so you don't always concentrate. Give time, apportion time for, and be diligent as when and where to do what. Okay, now let's go back to the budgeting, savings. So saving is linked with budgeting. Mostly we get money, we earn it, and we use them. Sometimes the money, monthly salary comes into your hands, and you don't even know what you use it for. This is why we need to budget. Leave room for budgeting and leave some money for savings. Your savings and investments are not are supposed to be something you fall on when there are hard times. Try to forgo instant gratification, which I've talked about. Now what I'm doing, I buy things online a lot. So what I do is I put something in my cart, leave it, think about it for a week. If I still don't, it's like if I'm not even craving for it anymore, I delete it, I remove it from my cart. So be sure that you're doing something towards erasing that thought of instant gratification. Oh, this clothes is nice. Oh, this car is nice. At that point, at that moment, you want to have it. It's not like you need it, you want to have it. What if you go sleep over it? In a day, in 2 days, you don't even think about it anymore. You assess your situation. Do you even need it? You don't need it. Just let it go and save your coins, because little by little it can accumulate to make a big money for you. So it is very, very important to budget. The plans of being diligent lead to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes to poverty. This is in Proverbs 21:5, and it's true. If you see this, you're buying, you see that you're buying, by the time you realize you don't even have a single coin in your account. So let us be very, very cautious of how we use our money. Planning is very biblical and requires diligence and wisdom to stick to the plan. Just don't just plan or budget for doing its sake. Stick to it and make sure that whatever you've put on that paper is what you're going by. And this is something I'm working on this year. I'm going to be very, very strict with what I put on my paper, on my budget. If I'm doing this month, exactly what I'm doing, unless it is an emergency, unforeseen circumstances, then I need to find ways to make it work. But I'm very much going to be very strict with myself. Now, one thing also I've been taught is to ask these 4 questions when you're buying a big thing. Have you prayed about it? Can you pay cash for this item immediately instead of using credit cards? What is the long-term cost of this? If you're going to use credit card, how much money will come as an interest? Will it benefit? Questions before you make any big purchase. Now, also tied to money is debt. We all sometimes fall into debt, but we must be very, very careful Some people say there are good debts and there are bad debts. I believe in to some extent, but all debts are debt. And for that matter, we need to be very careful. Do not borrow money to buy something that is going to depreciate the next month or so. Make sure that if you are making a big purchase, it's something that appreciates, and you make sure that it's a decision that you've prayed and thought through before going forward with it. Avoid all these irresponsible debts and create a plan. If you've already accrued debts, create a plan to pay off these debts. Now, the last point will be given. One thing I've learned is that anytime I give, I receive in folds. That is a principle in the Bible, and that is something that I myself have always been experiencing. So the principle of giving is something that is in the Bible, everywhere in the Bible. So if you do not like to give, then you are blocking your own blessings. If you do not like to give, then you are really, really minimizing the bounty blessings that God has in store for you. I'm not talking about paying your tithes. I'm talking about giving based on your heartfelt needs to the needy, to the poor, to the widow, to someone who really needs it. Let's learn to do these things. And I believe that just as we give to the poor, God is going to reward us back with even abundance that we didn't even foresee. So let us be very generous with our money. Stinginess won't take us anywhere. Covet and trying to hide all that you have, what is it gonna benefit a man if he gains all things and loses his soul? You might have so much, someone might have little, even not food to eat. You're keeping all that for yourself. Someone can die out of hunger. What happiness do you gain by harboring things that you do not need? Let them go, give them out to those who are in need so they can also bless you. When I give, I don't even expect anything in return, but I'm always happy is when someone tells you, God bless you. That is a blessing. And so I receive it with my whole heart. And that has always been leading me into much more prosperity. So let us learn that as we give towards God's work, we exchange temporary possession with eternal treasure in heaven. It is important to view everything as God's, like everything as it is for God and not ours. If we see it that way, then it will be easy for us to give. Then train our eyes to see things that are needed in God's kingdom and not the wants of this world, which we are all craving for. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. We all love beautiful things. We all love good stuff. But at the end of the day, our treasures are being prepared in heaven and not on earth. So we should seek first the kingdom, and all others will be given unto us. Let us practice these things, and I believe that it will go a long way to help us secure ourselves financially, be independent, be wise, and also be God's children with influence. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you guys for supporting me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and also make sure that you subscribe to my channel, as I have so many of these topics for us to discuss as we grow in God's word. Because this year, that is something that I promised myself. I'm going to really study the word of God, and I want to do this with you guys. Thank you once again, and have a blessed day. Bye.